As landscape photographers, one of the most frustrating things is having a great time out in nature, getting home, processing your files, and then looking at them and just feeling like they're flat or they're just missing something. So in this video, I want to talk about that. How do we get our image looking more three-dimensional and more realistic? I have an image here from Marlene. She's put this one in my Facebook group, and thank you so much for letting me work on this one. This is a beautiful photo now, no doubt, but what I've kind of picked up here is a very subtle thing that can happen to us in our photography, and especially when we're processing, is that we can process the raw file to be one big similar tone. If you look at the histogram up here, see how we have more or less a big bulk group of midtones and a few darks in there. When we have this, the problem is that now it's hard for the eye to perceive depth, because out in nature we basically encounter the atmospheric perspective where something that is close to us would typically have the darkest of darks, and then as things progress through into the distance, the tonal range decreases, so there won't be such dark values off into the distance. And you can really see this when you're in a big grand landscape, particularly with mountains and trees off in the distance. Now, on a scene like this, for sure, the depth is not that far. It's a small cascade. We might only be looking 50 to 100 feet off into the distance. We want to still adhere to the atmospheric perspective. So one way we can do that is to try and broaden our tonal range. We want to basically have more contrast, but we don't want to do global contrast adjustment. We want to do this locally to create the depth. So how do we do it? What I'm going to do is basically push K to bring up an adjustment brush. You could be in Lightroom, I'm here in Camera Raw, you might be in Capture One. It doesn't really matter. We just want to be able to locally adjust the tones. And what I want to do is make sure that down here, particularly this front part of the rock, this front part of the log, anything in this first focal plane has darker darks. And then as we roll through to the background, we're going to lighten things up. And hopefully it will just give us a better perception of depth. And don't get me wrong, this is still a beautiful photo anyway, but I'm hoping that these little adjustments might just tip it over the edge. Now, for the darkening, I'm actually just going to increase the contrast. And what that will do, you'll see, it will drop down anything dark down here, making it darker. But contrast will mean that anything light will remain relatively light, like that nice soft light on the log. But see how the dark tones are dropping back? We're just going to bring that up like so. Now you could get the blacks and bring them down. You could do the shadows, whatever you like. Typically, I'll just start off with contrast for the reasons that I just explained. The next thing I'll do is slightly pull down the highlights, which is just going to dial back some of the light on this log. I just feel like that's a little too bright for where it is in the frame and maybe how the light is working in this scene. What we want is more light in the back to pull the eye through into the distance. Now, as we progress through to the mid-level, the mid part of the frame, we're going to basically do the opposite. We're going to lift the darker tones, the shadows and the blacks, and just lift these up slightly in this middle area, all through here like so. And as we finally get up into the distance, this is where it's like the finishing point for the eye. I'm now going to just raise the exposure up here. So essentially everything we've done is more or less dodging and burning. We're just adjusting tonality similar to how a painter would work a scene. Now we haven't done much, but if we do a before and after, that's where we were and that's where it's at. See how hopefully the eye will naturally shift from the foreground, and in this case now running through to the background. If I wanted to heighten that even further, we could run it over again. So it pays when you're processing to do things in small increments, build it up and save your progress as you go, and come back with fresh eyes, make an adjustment, save it, come back later with fresh eyes. So that's the marination process, which you've probably heard me talk about before. So we're just lifting the tones in the distance, darkening down that foreground, and now hopefully the eye will more effectively flow. In this case, it's getting stuck on the foreground there, and now wanting to travel more through to the background. Let's have a look at another example. Sonia has put in this one, and you can see here, hopefully, where I'm coming from. We have the same tonal range, more or less, all the way through the frame, except for the highlights up in the distance. Now I'm working on a JPEG here, so I'm not going to have as much data to adjust as I'd probably like, but let's see what we can do anyway. Remember, we want to have the darkest of darks in the front, then progressively get through to that bright area in the back. Whereas at the moment, everything is a very even tonal range. So what I'll do initially is bring down the entire exposure. So darkness is our friend. It helps us get drawn towards the light. And now with my brush, I'll apply that contrast in the foreground, and that will just drop down some of these darker tones here, like so. And I might even go down and do some dehazing. It's also adjusting those darker tones, making them drop down more. Already, before and after, from that to that. And what you could do is maybe bring it all down even further. And then where the light is, we can bring it back. So maybe 0.3 on the exposure, just so it's not too dialed down. You don't want to come too far back that, again, you create that flat tone. You want to have areas of dark, areas of light. So I'm putting that light back in the distance here to lead the eye in. And then there's a few zones where we can see the light is actually hitting the trees, here, down here. What I'll do for that is, because it doesn't look natural if it's pulled back too far, so I'll introduce that back with some highlights and whites. But I'm doing this locally now, even on the top of these ferns, and it's just in some of those smaller zones like that. The last thing I'll do here is, we've talked about tonal range with light. You can also think of tonal range and tonality with color. So we've got a lot of warm hues here. I wouldn't mind just dropping down the shadows to be a touch cooler, because our highlights are quite warm, which is very pleasing. That's nice. But I think if we just gently cool the midtones, we'll get a greater sense of depth as well. So let's just have a quick look now. Again, we're working on the JPEG. We don't have all the data there, but that's where we were. And that's kind of where we finished up. So darkness is our friend. It helps lead us to light. And in our landscape scenes, when we have depth, when we have foreground, midground, background, it definitely pays to keep in mind that you want the darkest of darks at the front, and then progressively get lighter all the way through. Obviously, there is lots of different scenarios. I know that some scenes will have a greater sense of depth than others, and in those cases, you won't be going as heavy on the contrast adjustments. But just keep it in mind when you're analyzing your photography, if you feel like it's looking maybe a little bit flat or something's not quite right, think about that tonal range and that progression of darks leading us through to light. And it's not necessarily talking about light in the sky or your highlights. I'm talking about the dark tones, darker at the front, lighter in the midground, and then lighter again in the background, the atmospheric perspective. Okay, thank you again, ladies, for letting me work on these files here. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Please leave any questions or comments below. Thumbs up helps as well, and I'll see you in another video soon.